Pour écouter cette session en français, veuillez cliquer en bas de votre écran sur l'onglet Interprétation et sélectionner le drapeau français.
Hello, bonjour.
Barry Saleho.
On behalf of ICLEI Africa,
the African Center for Cities,
Our Future Cities,
Red Cross Crescent Climate Center, and partners,
we're excited to welcome all of you
to the Rise Africa 2022 Action Festival.
Rise Africa has been growing since 2020
as a platform for thinkers,
doers,
and enablers,
committed to inspiring action for sustainable cities.
This year's theme is
creativity.
For me, this means blending skills to be able to communicate the climate change complexity in rapidly urbanizing cities.
I think we have such untapped potential in Africa when it comes to creativity.
I love the idea that we need to create space to be creative. I think so often we rush into trying to act immediately, and creativity is a good reminder to sit back and to really tap into the capacities we have.
I think agency is finding ways of giving power back to people, to groups, to young people, especially on a continent where it's a very young population.
The value, the inputs from the youths, people who are considered inexperienced have valuable contribution, and they're really taking that into consideration.
I think what agency means to me is change from the ground up.
The importance of urgency is the recognition of the past and the recognition that we've lost time.
Urgency is about acting now to build more inclusive, productive, and resilient cities.
Is this need to creatively redesign and unlearn and explore new ways of thinking.
The festival is hosting 33 sessions
with 135 provocateurs from across Africa and the world.
Every session aims to show new ideas,
showcase ongoing action,
and launch new initiatives, bringing participants together
to chart a new route forward.
We hope that the festival program will inspire you.
At the festival, we encourage you to showcase your business and projects,
build lasting partnerships,
unleash your creative potential,
commit to sustainable action.
Rise Africa is about translating ideas into action. What actions are you going to commit to this festival?
Before the session begins, it is important to note that you're being recorded.
And by participating, you are given the consent to be recorded.
All recordings will be available on the program page after the festival. Creative expression is vital for creating new futures for our cities.
And so we invite you to enter this session in the spirit of creativity and dreaming.
Je vis avec un mal dont je ne suis pas le porteur. Je vis avec un mal qui me donne de l'espoir. Atteint de l'albinisme, déficience intellectuelle, handicapé physique, malentendant, malvoyant, je suis dédaigné par la population. Exclusion, désaffiliation, je suis exclu de la société. Ils disent que je suis différent d'eux. Discrimination, marginalisation, je vis en marge de la société. Je suis la risée de la société. Stigmatisation, ségrégation, je proteste contre les travers de la société. Je refuse ce mode de vie. Inclusion, insertion, nous promouvons l'alphabétisation, l'éducation inclusive, l'accès aux infrastructures, l'accès aux services sociaux pour les personnes vivant avec un handicap, la création d'un système distributif pour réduire la pauvreté, la reconnaissance du travail non rémunéré, la réduction du chômage à longue durée, la valorisation de l'égalité pour toute la communauté. Je suis différent d'eux. Le handicap n'est pas une fatalité. Sachez que mon handicap a fait de moi une bombe à épanouissement. Sachez que mon handicap a fait de moi une bombe à épanouissement.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this event of today, which is as part of the Rise Africa Action Festival. As you all know, Rise Africa has been positioned to be an event of doers. So it is not a talk show. And I'm glad today that we have entrepreneurs in the house who are basically doers that are going to be showcased today. The title of the session is called Where Business and Circularity Intersect. Meet the East African entrepreneurs pushing the boundaries of sustainability in African cities. And I'm very sure that you are going to enjoy the session today. Permit me to share my screen and take us through our agenda for today. And basically, we are going to be having, as part of the agenda, an introduction to the East Africa program by ICLEI Africa and Stellenbosch Launch Lab, and then we introduce you to our judges. And we have the pitches that we have positioned today. I'm glad to inform you that we have our entrepreneurs today as part of the program who are going to showcase their work, the way they are trying to contribute to the sustainability agenda in our African cities. And we have designed this event to be a collaborative one, an engaging one, where everyone participates. So no one entity is going to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner at the same time. And so we have a panel of judges who are going to be the judge. And we invite our participant to be the jury in this event. And I'm still going to tell you how that is going to pan out. And of course, I have myself, my humble self, as the executioner for the event today. And so after the pitches, we are going to have the judges deliberating about it and assessing them. And we are going to also have the announcement of the winners. Out the East Africa program, the East Africa project has been designed as a project to unlock the potential of the circular economy in Southern Africa, and it seeks to support the growth of circular businesses in the areas of food systems, health, and climate change. And how do we ensure that we do this? We do this through three components. One is by incubating and upskilling our startup companies, entrepreneurs, and small businesses with a focus on the circular economy. And not only incubating them, we feel that it is important for us to provide a platform for them to expose themselves, and which is also one of the fundamental reasons why we have put this together, where they can be exposed to and interact with mature circular businesses, funders, and government officers. Another thing that we want to do through this project is to provide a guidance to local governments on how they can improve and provide an enabling environment for circular businesses to thrive. In terms of the implementers of the East Africa project, the Accelerating Circular Economy in Africa project, we've got ICLEI Africa, and there is also Launch Lab. And the project is funded by the Embassy of Finland in South Africa through their local fund for cooperation. These are the project partners implementing this project. And I'll briefly share with you about ICLEI Africa. ICLEI Africa is a global network of cities that has offices all around the world. We've got our ICLEI Europe office, we've got office in ICLEI in USA, and even in the South America. And we in ICLEI Africa, we are positioned to connect leaders, city leaders, government leaders with each other, and to be their voices even in global fora where there is a tendency to underrepresent cities and local governments. We also tend to accelerate action, and that is why this Rise Africa Action Festival has been put together. Another thing that we do is we provide gateways to solutions for our cities by understanding what their challenges are and how we can assist in addressing these challenges. So ICLEI Africa has been supporting cities in Africa generally, and we reach over 150 cities and regions, and we assist them and we support their work, we support their sustainability agenda through our different pathways, which are 5. One is the low emission development. Second one is nature-based development pathway, equitable and people-centered development pathway, resilient development pathway, and circular development pathway. And like I alluded to earlier, I said that we've got our partners who, Stellenbosch University Launch Lab, who is one of the leading incubators supporting businesses in South Africa and even in Africa generally. I don't know if Daniel has joined us from Stellenbosch Launch Lab, so just basically share within a few minutes about what Stellenbosch Launch Lab does. Daniel, are you in the room?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Hope everybody's doing good. My name is Daniel Malova. I'm with the Launch Lab. So basically what the Launch Lab is about, it's an incubation company. We build businesses. To date, we have helped through our programs create more than 250 plus jobs. We've incubated several entrepreneurs and startups and companies. And we mainly have three verticals that we focus on at the Launch Lab. We have climate, we have agri, and we have health. It truly is a pleasure to partner with ACE Africa on this circularity program to try and equip entrepreneurs basically with design thinking tools, business model canvas, lean startup methodologies. Basically what we teach as a fundamental for every entrepreneur is to understand the one-on-ones of building a business and how to go about with your own startups. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what the Launch Lab is all about. We are fully owned by Stellenbosch University, although we are a private entity. But I'll be here if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We've got two Daniel in the house, right? Okay, so I'll continue with that. And so that's Daniel Maluba from our partner Launch Lab. So essentially, why we put this session together is to be able to reflect on how circular businesses or businesses generally are leading the transition when we talk about the circular economy. And so this is one of the things we want to be able to showcase today. We want to showcase the way circular economy principles and frameworks have been guiding these businesses in terms of ideating and in terms of implementing their ideas. And we also want to demonstrate how these businesses are the heart of and leading the circular economy transition in South Africa and in other other African cities. And the process that we want to use to do this is through our East African entrepreneurs showcasing their business by pitching their business. So we've allocated to them 3 minutes to present their case, to present their business to us. We've got a panel of judges, that competent panel of judges that will be able to do justice to it. And like I mentioned earlier, I said we've got the judges, we've got the jury, and we've got the executioner in the house. So we are inviting our participants to be the jury. So while the judges, after listening to this, to the entrepreneurs, asking them questions, when they go to the breakout room to discuss and deliberate on and evaluate these companies, we want to also engage our participants in a form of assessment using Mentimeter. And we want to ask 3 questions. The questions we want to ask, I think my colleague is sharing it on the, is that firstly we want, and so please keep this at the back of your mind, even as we go through the pitches. The first question we want to ask you, our audience, is that whose pitch do you perceive to be most convincing or exciting? Number 2 is that whose pitch do you perceive to be the most socially impactful? And the last question is, or the last one that we want you to reflect on, and we are going to do this via Mentimeter, is that whose speech do you perceive to be the most environmentally impactful? Just keep these questions at the back of your mind, even as you listen to our entrepreneur speeches. And after their pitch, when the judges go to the breakout room to discuss and assess and do their own assessment, we want to invite the jury to also do a little form of assessment in terms of evaluating our entrepreneurs. Like we have told them, it is not, we have put this together not to say, hey, you are the best or you are the, but we want to see how they can begin to make case for their businesses so that they can improve this and be able to convince even their customers and build momentum, as it were, going forward in their businesses. So let me just say a few words about our judges. Like I said, we've got a panel of 3 people in our panel of judges who are basically experts in their field and are available to us. We are excited to have you to do justice to this. We've got Alexander Fraser, who is the director of Viridian and the co-founder of Dazu Angels, joining us as one of the judges. Also, we have Bonwa Vanka, who is the program manager of Africa Circular Economy Alliance. So he's a specialist in the circular economy. She's a specialist in the circular economy, and she'll be able to also assess the circularity potential of these businesses. Finally, we have Kelly Rowe, who is a board member of Brownie Point and founder of Stratlever, who has just joined us as a panel, as a member of the panel. And without further ado, we have set the rules straight for entrepreneurs in terms of how we are going to run this. And without further ado, I want us to start now to listen to them. So the rule is that our entrepreneur will speak for 3 minutes, after which we invite questions or comments from our judges before we move to the next entrepreneur who is going to be showcased. So if you may allow me to stop sharing my screen, even as we start now. So we're starting with Brendan Visa, who is with Wastewells. Please go for it, Brendan.
Apologies, I was muted. I hope the timer has not started. Are you guys ready?
No. We are going to start when you start speaking. So
okay, awesome, cool. Okay, I'm gonna start speaking. So I am the CEO and co-founder of Wastewells, and our slogan is we want to cultivate a passion for simplified recycling. And we started with the local vision of South Africa has an unemployment problem. Everybody knows that we're sitting at the moment of an unemployment of 35%. And that is something that me as a future entrepreneur, as an aspiring entrepreneur, that is something that has always been a passion of mine, is solving the unemployment problem. But then again, not every country has an unemployment problem. So our global vision is to live in a waste-free world and making the separation at source problem as rewarding as possible for the waste producers, the households, the businesses. So our journey started in South Africa. We have unemployed waste pickers, and I observed these people and I told myself that they are essentially Uber drivers for waste. And having done some research, we realized that they approximately collect 750 million rand worth of plastic each year. That is predicted to double by 2025. Surveys were conducted about recycling. 84% of the global population said recycling is important. Going on to the next slide, most people are not able to recycle. And the reason for that is a lack of services, which 42% of people said, and 25% of people said they don't know how to participate in recycling programs. And that is something that we at Wastewells, we wanted to solve. Just as Airbnb connected tenants to landlords, Uber connected drivers to riders, Wastewells wants to be the connecting agent, the connecting business that connects your waste collectors to your waste producers, that connects your collectors to your buyback centers, your recycling centers, and overall gives waste associations vision of what waste streams are ready for collection, what has been recycled, and ultimately to reduce the amount of waste that ends up in landfill. So our solution is a web and mobile application that allows and rewards household and businesses to capture their type of waste that is ready to be recycled and to connect them to collectors or to direct them to the nearest waste bin in their area. And I'm taking out my phone because I want to move on to our MVP Readiness. And I have a live screen share of my mobile. Can you guys see my phone, my screen? Okay, yes. I hope you can. Yes. Okay, so this is the Wastewells mobile application. This is the home screen for our household. This is what they would see. And as you can see, I just logged in, and the first thing I can see is immediately all the waste bins in my area. I can click on a waste bin. It'll give me information. This is an AST recycling bin. It's by Leroy Merlin in Boksburg. It accepts e-waste. And I can get directions, or if I have any questions, I can contact. So I can click direct me. and it will open Google Maps and it will direct me to those waste bin. This is something that people do not have access to. There are web apps that exist, but a mobile app is way easier. It is way more convenient. Imagine you had to book an Uber
wrap up, Brendan,
on a web. Wrap up, okay, yikes. Then again, the collectors can also use the Wastewells app just as an Uber driver uses Uber to be directed to the waste. I'm gonna skip over a few slides. I'll just wrap up to here. Our next steps moving forward, we could use some developers, we could use some connections to market, some mentoring, and everyone in the audience, please sign up. Our app is already on the App Store. It is already available to the public. You can download it, and we would just like some feedback from your side. And thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. This is what it means to be an executioner, you see. I have to be on top of my game. Exactly 3 minutes, I stop you. I say wrap up, and after 30 seconds, if you don't do that, I put you on mute. So that, so I mean, it's also a skill that we're learning. Imagine yourself with a top funder on an elevator, and you've got 2 minutes to do your pitch. You have to react these things, and doing it over and over again will give you that opportunity. Thank you, Brendan, for that. I want to move to Miri. Can you stop sharing your screen, Brendan? Okay, before I move to Miri, I want to invite Alexandra. Do you have a question for or comments on Brendan's presentation?
Sure. So 2 quick comments. The first is never do a live demo in a pitch. It always takes far too much time. Have screenshots, and the golden rule is 1 slide per 30 seconds. You can't speak faster than that. So none of you should have more than 6 slides. So that's a golden rule. Just some quick pitching tips. I want to know traction. How have you validated that there's a need for the service? And what is your business model?
Okay, so our business model, I'm going to tackle that question first. So we run on a subscription-based service model. So collectors sign up to our app. Why? Because we give them visibility. When is waste ready for collection? What is ready for collection? When they can go collect it, where they can go collect it, and then also the drop-off points. So we work off collectors pay us a subscription service, and we take a commission off the routes.
Have you tested that?
No, that's not been tested on a commercial level. It's not been tested. So
how many waste pickers have you spoken to?
How many
waste pickers have you spoken to who would pay you subscription model?
Well, we've spoken to waste associations. They've mentioned that they would carry the cost of their stakeholders because they also have members. Waste associations in South Africa, like you have IWASA, you have Polyco, Petco, they mentioned that they might be willing to partner and carry the cost on behalf of their member companies, things like that. So we have reached out to people.
Okay, so this is just a comment. You've got to be very clear who are your customers, who's going to pay you for the service, and who are your beneficiaries. And I would get a lot firmer on actually nailing down some validation. So some ifs and buts and maybes are, everyone likes to be enthusiastic about a new idea, but getting someone to actually commit and test is going to be a critical next step for you.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Alexandra, for that. I think I don't have time to entertain another comment from one of another judge. But if you have a comment, you can just put it on the chat box. I want to move very quickly to the next entrepreneur now. I want to invite Luichatta from Viral Solutions.
Great. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Right. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Luichatta, and I'm the founder of Viral Solutions, a modern-day packaging company with a focus on sustainable, on-demand food and beverage brands. By on-demand, think about Uber Eats, Checker 6060, grab-and-go coffee, smoothies, croissants, etc. We're really on a mission to make responsibly made closed-loop packaging accessible to brands across Africa. So as you're aware, during the pandemic, all restaurants and cafes had to move to a delivery or takeaway model. This resulted in a significant increase in the demand for takeaway packaging, and as a result, a massive increase in the amount of waste created, most of which was going to landfill. This market has subsequently remained in place post-COVID, and most restaurants see it as an additional revenue stream, which is growing significantly. So at Vira, our sustainability mandate is to minimize packaging waste to landfill and keep valuable materials in the economy and out of the environment. So we manufacture all our goods with recyclability and circularity in mind. We do this by only using the most valuable materials possible in the makeup of goods. All our products are designed with recyclability and recovery. It's essential that they are easy to be recycled. And where possible, we make as many of our items from recycled materials which have been collected and processed in South Africa. So for example, our juice bottles and our smoothie cups are made using a minimum of 50 to 80% recycled PET plastic, which have been collected and processed in South Africa. Our coffee cup holders are made from 100% recycled paper fibers. Takeaway bags from 100% recycled paper. Our bagasse clamshells are made from 100% recycled sugarcane pulp, and our aluminium trays are made from 95% recycled aluminium. So to truly close the loop, Vira Solutions wants its packaging back. And to do that, we need to intercept our packaging before it becomes waste. One of the methods that we've been trialing and testing is through the use of what we call reverse vending machines. Now, reverse vending machines, think about it like a vending machine, but instead of putting money in and getting product back, instead of putting money in and getting product back, you put product in and you get money back. This can be done through like an e-bucks equivalent, or rewards and discount codes at partners. We've currently been trialing this with one of our juicery partners, and essentially how it worked was for every 10 bottles that a consumer returned, they were rewarded with 10 Rand off their next purchase at the store. This has been a really, really good initiative to test something like this, and we have to date intercepted over 8,000 bottles.
Wrap up, Murray.
Cool. Thank you very much for having me. Look forward to your questions.
Thank you so much, Murray, for that. I think before we even dive forward, let me just also highlight this fact that our businesses are in different stages in terms of their business development. And so I think we need to understand that. So as we're relating, so yeah, Kelly, what do you have any question for Murray?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Well done, Murray. I'll just have one question and can get those others more involved. I think the fact that you're using recycled inputs is a good start, but trying to focus on the collection of those packaging items back into your system is quite complicated. And I wonder how you would achieve scalability at the systems level, because it's one thing to try and implement a system, but how will you achieve that scalability that will really bring in that net effect that we need across all the different actors that consume? So that's one question I'll put forward to you for now.
Cool. So we've got two collection models. One, like the one I just displayed now, are through smart bins that we can place at our restaurant or food partners. This one's a little bit more complicated. A lot more time and effort goes into it. The collection of the goods is a lot more difficult, but we believe that this collection model will probably get the most mileage in terms of exposure to consumers, educating consumers on the value of their packaging, and it will allow us to directly recover our own packaging. The second option, idea that we've looked at is through buyback centers. We've been looking at the informal buyback centers where waste collection is on a much larger scale. It's a lot easier. Most of the time, they're willing to deliver directly to your facility. We are then able to consolidate the various materials that we collect redivert them to our manufacturing partners or a recycle partner, where we know it gets turned into the valuable materials that we use in the makeup of our goods again.
Okay, thank you for that.
I've got one more question. Can I ask, Daniel?
Okay, go for it.
So on the actual packaging, I mean, is it just to continue recycling the inputs and not maybe working towards a reuse model? Because if it's on the recycling side, I know like pizza boxes with oil, it's really difficult to then process that afterwards once you've collected that back. So I'm just wondering how effective it would be to continue focusing on recycling over other models like a reuse opportunity.
We have looked at reuse models. We don't believe that the market in South Africa is ready for it yet. We do think it's something that this could kind of progress into at some stage. However, we've identified the looping of materials to being important. We don't want to sell anything that's made from any virgin. We believe that the tap needs to be turned off. We need to utilize the materials that are currently in our economy and circulate them as many times as possible.
Okay, thank you, Miri. I think we can continue to reflect yeah. I think I want to move on now. So if you can stop sharing your screen, I'd like to call on Drine Botis from Meant to Be.
Can I start? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Trini Boertjes. My company name is Meant to Be. We are growing the South Africa bee industry through the support and development of rural and disadvantaged beekeepers. It's a big problem in South Africa. We have land, we have beekeepers, and they are all most of them are in poor rural communities who do not have the finance to support themselves or grow their businesses to bigger industries. The problem in South Africa is that the beekeeping industry, there's a lack of skills, business skills for the people. There's theft and vandalism, lack of access and processing equipment, lack of beekeeping and training skills and developing. And that is the things that we look at Meant to Be to support these small beekeepers. The opportunities that we have seen in the market is it's relative low barrier to entry, easy, scalable. We can work with agricultural other projects like pollination of trees or vegetables or things like that. The 15 beekeepers that we have identified have already basic skills in place. So for us, it's just to scale them up, incubate them and make them bigger beekeepers, taking them into the export market or into shops into South Africa. How our business model works is we have identified at this stage 15 beekeepers, and underneath each one of them we have 3 beekeepers that we are going to train. We give each of them 300 hives. We give them training, we support them, we give them the protecting gear, we give everything to them. They don't buy it from us. We go into a workmanship, a partnership with them. One part of this is also to support them with business skills, that they understand how to become bigger beekeepers. Then we move on to when we go into harvesting, we will harvest our honey from them. We pay them on the spot at a lower price than what they will get if they go into on their own into the market. And we have already bulk, we can supply them, we can sell bulk, or we can do bottling to go to the market. I just want to show this slide specifically how we incubate and how we grow them bigger. The biggest beekeepers at the moment that we have looked at and that have land available have between 5 and 40 hives. And if we take 40 hives, after they have harvested about 15 kilogram honey per hive, they make about 48,000 Rand. If we go into them in partnership, we give them 300 hives, we train them, we support them, we give them everything that they need. If they, at the same scale of 15 kilogram per hive, at the end, they will get about 200,000 Rand per harvest circle from us. One of the other things that we will definitely looking at and what we want to do is to bring in a harvesting truck. It's innovation technology. It will be the first in Africa. We will harvest on site. There's no waste of honey. We know exactly where we harvest, how we harvest, where the honey come from.
Wrap up, Jenny.
We also partner with the correctional service, and we have already built our brand. Without bees, there will be no food in the world in 3 years' time. We have a team. We have already do a few things. We exhibit already. We're buying at the moment honey back from the beekeepers to test the market and to go into market. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wanted to exercise my power, then you stopped talking. Anyway.
Thank you for not stopping me.
I just want to flex my power. I mean, I want to use that mute button myself.
I know you wanted to do it on me.
Yeah, I mean, I particularly liked something you said there, that without bees, there will be no food in the world in the next 3 years. I mean, It talks about sustainability. I mean, how bees contribute to sustainability or sustainable cities, or even sustainability in Africa generally. So on that note, I want to invite Bomoa. Bomoa, do you have any question or comments?
Okay, yeah, I have one question that comes to mind. And hi, Drania, it seems like a very good business model. Just checking for the circularity within your value system, value chain. And I mean, I landed on the last one, and curious to just find out in terms of bottling, have you considered what kind of bottles you would use for packaging and how you source those? And also curious to also know how long you've been in operations as a business and the scale in terms of how many farms,
Okay, so we have identified 15 farmers already. What I want to do is also to start at the back and start with the bottling side, because I can buy already from the farmers what they have at the moment instead of waiting another year. I have started this whole project with all our research about two years ago to see how we're going to bottle, where we're going to get our farmers from, go through all these skills that they have and what we need to do to upskill them and make them really sustainable industries, because having 5 or 50 hives, you don't even break even. Only if you're a lone farmer, you only start making money and breaking even at 1,000 hives. Our bottles, at this moment we import. Our lids are wooden lids that we use, and our branding on top is also it's paper branding. So that is the 2 things that we're using. If that answers you.
Okay, it answers my question. I mean, just thinking aloud that there could be a business here that has technologies for receiving bottles back from the consumers and has a way of channeling it back into your farm. So I wonder if you would consider that, but just thinking aloud. Yeah.
Thank you. I have never thought about that, but it's a very good idea, and I will look into that as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bomoa, for that. Alexandra, do you have any comments?
Yes, I just want to say, so the model that you've got is very similar to, there's a very successful Nigerian agricultural business called Farm Crowdy. And just around financing, I think have a look at the Farm Crowdy model, because that could be also quite innovative in terms of the financing of your business.
Thank you so much. I'll appreciate that.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Drini. If you may stop sharing your screen. As Chris joined us from Solar Cool. Chris? Okay, great. Let me move forward now and invite Gisela from Telio Green to present to us. Gisela of Fair Chance from Telio Green, if you have Fair Chance.
Gisela will present, she's online. Thank you, Tanya.
Okay.
Okay, can you all see me, hear me, see my PowerPoint,
yes.
Hear my PowerPoint? Okay, great. So today I will be introducing our product, which is Telio Green. My name is Gisela, and co-founder Fairchance Ncube will be available to answer your questions after my presentation. So I want to start with a question for you. So how many of you left the house today and didn't see a single piece of plastic litter? And were you pleased to see it when you did? Because you did. The dangers of plastic are being elaborated on all the time. We're finding it in our soil, our fish, and even the chemicals in our bloodstreams. It is estimated that there are 6.3 billion tons of plastic trash on planet Earth right now. This is 810 kilograms of plastic waste for every person on Earth. Only 9% of this is currently recycled. So where do you want your personal 737 kilograms, the leftover 737 kilograms, to go? So it is clear that we need to find ways to reduce the mass of rubbish as quickly and efficiently as possible, especially in terms of reclaiming the rubbish that's already out there. So our founders, Mbongiseni, Davison, and Fairchance, had their interest sparked when they started chatting to their neighbor Tinashe over the wall during lockdown. So he worked in recycling, and the more they heard, the more they wanted to get involved. At first, they planned to open their own recycling center, but they quickly realized that this line of work was not suited to the skills they already had. As you can see, they're all software engineers. So was there a way to use their software development skills to deal with the problem? So instead of building a recycling center, how about linking all the nodes in the recycling chain on a central platform so that information and goods can be bought, sold, and transported more efficiently? This is why they are establishing Telio Green. When I first heard about the concept, I was excited, but my initial concerns were about the competition. So isn't a competitor already doing something similar? It was first to market with the idea of linking the nodes of the circular economy. However, as you can see, there's definitely space for competitors. And being second to market actually means that we can learn from what our competitor has already done, both right and wrong. Unlike them, we are focusing primarily on the B2C market and will focus more heavily on software as a service. Okay, so we believe that we can make sufficient profit charging 5 to 7% commission. We also focus very much on facilitating entrepreneurs becoming recyclers by bringing together everything they would need: tools, connections, training, and a market for their goods. This can help to clear the plastic from our neighborhoods, our fields, and our oceans that much sooner and create a cleaner world. And that is what excites us at Telio Green. That's the end of my presentation. We have more slides, but I don't need to talk about them.
Thank you, Gisela. So I must apologize for pronouncing your name incorrectly. My apologies for that. But exciting case that you have made here for Telio Green, and I want to invite Alexandra to give a comment or two, or maybe it's a question for the team from Telio Green.
Okay, so essentially you are connecting providers of recycling material, and then so providing almost like a marketplace for recycled goods.
Yes, ma'am. That is what the product seeks to do. So it seeks to connect the buyback centers. We work primarily from buyback center level going upwards to the manufacturer. So we want to facilitate trade between the two. Yes.
Great. How much traction do you have?
I think, as Daniel said, there are all sorts of businesses in this competition. We are still in the prototyping stage. So we're working now with Launch Lab, as well as AWS, Amazon for startups, and Microsoft for startups to prototype and get the product to market. So we are in the prototyping stage.
Okay, and I know you said that you have competitors, but have you also, what is going to be your competitive advantage?
Yes, so our competitive advantage is to not only trade the recycled material itself, but also be the market that facilitates the sale of small-scale recycling machines, such that the recycler can come and buy a recycling machine, come back to the marketplace and sell the recycled material. And then the the manufacturer can come, the small scale manufacturer can come and also interact with the same. So we want to provide a central marketplace for the recycling machines, the recycled materials, and with the view that eventually we will use the market insights and intelligence from the marketplace to build other more innovative products. We are a software company at core, and the marketplace is a research and development resource that we will use to innovate and develop other products on top of the marketplace.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Fairchance. Kelly, do you have any question for Fairchance?
Yeah, just to build onto the
question
I was asking, I'd like to know how many people, potential customers, have you spoken to try and validate this as a concept, and why B2C, potentially B2B?
Yes, so B2C is what we will lead with. So if you look at the product slide of the pitch, you'll realize that we intend to sell, for example, products like bricks that are made from recycled waste. So that is what will gain us the traction that we need to get the marketplace going and to gain more traction. And in terms of validation, the number of customers that we have spoken to, that is what we are doing currently. We are still doing that currently.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Fairchance from Telegreen. If you may kindly stop sharing your screen, please. May I invite from BN Aqua Solutions, Wastewells? Wastewells, if you are speaking, you are muted.
I'm just checking if we can be able to see my screen.
Yes, I can see it, but can you put it on the full screen mode? Maybe you use the slideshow at the top there. Great.
Is that fine?
Yes, please. Your time starts now.
Okay, my name is Buitumelo Nkatlo. I'm from BN Aqua Solutions. I'm a director and founder of BN Aqua Solutions. And our objective is to provide innovative water solutions. I'm a chemical engineering graduate with over 14 years. And during my 10 years as a metallurgist, we've seen that acid mine drainage is applied to the mining industry. And this is where this innovative idea of treating acid mine drainage with a waste material was born. And then we've done a laboratory analysis at the University of Johannesburg, where the results prove that we do have a case for further development. And our first prototype was built in 2016. And then we expanded the prototype in 2019 to 20,000 kiloliters. And then the intellectual property of the project is exclusively owned by the university and licensed to me as the inventor. So what is acid mine drainage? It's the contaminated water found underground in the mining industry. And our intention is to take this water, treat it using a waste material into drinking water in order to increase our drinking water capacity. We've built a prototype at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research where we've proved our concept. So the product is a drinking water. We can be able to see from the gold mine water samples, from the left to the right, where you see the raw water until the treated water. So that's the product of the prototype. We've also done the coal sector, where we are able and have proven that we are able to treat acid mine drainage to drinking stage. Thank you so much. I think my 3 minutes is over now. Are there any questions or comments? I didn't want to.
Thank you so much, Wastewells. Your 3 minutes are not over, but it's fine. I like how succinct your presentation is. So I will dive into questions and comments now. And Bonwa, I want to invite you. Do you have any comment or question for Wastewells?
Okay. Hi, Wastewells. it seems like the business is still at the prototype stage. You haven't kicked off, have you?
No, we haven't. We are currently looking for a mining partner in order to pilot our solution.
Okay. So in terms of customer surveys, have you done any surveys to check the acceptability of the product in the market? I mean, it's drinking water. That's like the final product you'd have in the market, and I assume that the business is going to be transparent to the consumer, customer acceptability of the product.
Yes, we've done a number of mines, the analysis for number of mines where we've proven that we are able to treat to drinking water stage, but it's not only drinking water that we are interested in. You find that other customers say we are only looking for processed water. Processed water is water that they normally wash with or use it for pumps or agricultural purposes, where we've proven again that we can be able to treat it to that stage and doesn't need to be potable. And it is cheaper because we are competitive in that edge. The reason for that is that we are using a waste material in order to treat the contaminated mine water.
Okay, sounds good. So it's not just potable drinking water, if I understand.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Bonwa. Kelly, let me invite you also.
Thanks, Daniel. It's a great idea that you're working on. Two questions. So the first would be, at what point would this be cost effective, and how would it be cost effective compared to other potential solutions? I think the priority is water security into the future. And there are other examples that I've seen. Magic Water is a brilliant example that extracts water or water molecules out of the air. And it's quite a beautiful decentralized opportunity for communities to improve their relationship opportunities to create water sourcing for themselves, if that makes sense. So a big question around affordability, cost effectiveness, and scalability.
Okay. For the scalability one, we are able to scale up because what we've done is we've already built a 20,000 liters per day plant. So we've moved it from laboratory conditions, and then we've built the first one in 2016, which was 3,500 liters. And then we have scaled it to now 20,000 liters. So we would like to move from where we are scaled. So that's the first one. We will follow the same model that we've followed throughout what we've had. And then the second one is with us using a waste material, it is cheaper to procure a waste material because it is a byproduct of one of steel processing manufacturers. So they are literally throwing it away, and then we buy it in order to be able to treat the water. So it is cheaper, and it makes our treatment process cheaper as compared to what is available out.
Anyways, it seems we've lost Botumelu there, but I'll basically just proceed now. And I'd like to invite Alex from Covizen for his presentation. Botumelu, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. Alex?
Hello, everybody. Can you see my screen?
Yes, coming through.
Okay,
clearly.
awesome. Okay, great. And I assume then you can also hear my sound, which is also great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me start. Someone once said, what goes great with a cup of coffee? And the answer is another cup of coffee. Let us just take a second to critically analyze that statement and think about the greater impact it has on society. My name is Alex Ralston, and I'm the owner of Covizen. So our story is a very simple one. I'm an avid coffee drinker. I noticed at home that I was throwing away a lot of spent coffee waste each morning. Then again, when I was out at Rooibach out in Rooibach at the Marula Hub, I noticed that the waste stream was increasing at an exponential rate. I noticed Johanna, our helper at the offices, was taking all the waste home and using it as a fertilizer. So I thought to myself, one, there must be a larger problem, and two, there must be a potential solution to this problem. So the problem that I've identified is that coffee waste is landing up in our landfill sites, where it contributes to the emission of methane, a greenhouse gas which is 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide, which ultimately leads to climate change. Our solution is to divert waste through the collection from local coffee shops, then to repurpose and create products from the waste using 3D printing, and then selling upscaled items that contributes to a circular economy. Currently, our expertise includes improved coffee waste collection methods, the use of 3D printing, where one of the oldest businesses meets the fourth industrial revolution. We were founded in September 2021 last year. We are pre-revenue and are currently in the prototyping phase of our product development. Through this process, we aim to achieve circularity through rethinking, reducing, and reusing waste. Our value proposition is that we are looking at creating opportunities out of waste by joining the circular economy and incorporating 4IR technologies. Our product, as mentioned, we are currently in the prototyping and testing phase. Our current focus is on the potential South African tourism sector, which is conservation aligned. And I believe that it could be, based on my hypothesis, a replicable business model where we could cater for this industry. Currently, we use a blend of biodegradable resin as well as treated spent coffee ground wastes to produce our product. Currently, we've printed a few samples using solar power as an alternative energy resource. Our current revenue model would be through product sales as well as waste collection fees. Our go-to market plan, the target market is coffee lovers, millennials, and Generation Z, as they are considered to be environmentally conscious consumer decision makers. Our acquisition channels include retail outlets, so partner coffee shops, our e-commerce store, as well as social media. The founding team includes myself at this stage. I have a background in business development in the edtech and edutainment sector, and I think within the next 12 months, I would be looking to expand 2 to 3 new jobs, which would then contribute to the overall economy. Our contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals include the following 4, but with my big focus is on goal number 17, which is in partnerships.
Please
I
wrap
think
up,
it's one
Alex.
of the most important.
Alex,
Okay, our
please
current
wrap up.
partners. Perfect. Our current partners include the following. Just I'd like to thank ICLEI as well as Launch Lab and Footprints Africa for their contribution as well as their mentorship over this past incubation program. So yeah, if there's any other questions, it does not end with your last sip. Help us create balance and waste. The choice is yours.
The choice is indeed mine. Thank you so much, Alex, for that. I'd like to invite Alexandra. You have a choice here to comment on Alex's speech. I want to invite you to make use of that.
Cool. So first of all, I want to know how many, like what volume of coffee is actually made up into the recycled component of the 3D printing. So how many animals do you have to print and sell to make a dent in the coffee ground market? Because
Yeah.
I'm a coffee recycler myself because I drink so much.
I think we all sort of have that problem by drinking too much coffee. We definitely obviously contribute negatively to this problem. But with regards to your question, I would say at this point we're looking at about 30% of our product is made up of coffee waste. There's been several challenges. The more coffee waste we include into it, the longer the print time takes. So at this stage, it's about 30-70 coffee to resin. Obviously, there's a bit of a process that goes in before actually printing with the coffee. So we need to dehydrate it because it's very moist. So you actually have to sort of extract a little bit of that extra moisture. So I run that through a dehydrator, which then obviously reduces the waste as well. So there are potential plans in the works to sort of look at maybe extracting the oil and using that as a secondary product.
And the resin you use, is it a biodegradable resin?
Yes, so currently the one that we have got that I'm testing with is marketed as biodegradable, but I'm doing further testing on the side to see how long it would take to actually biodegrade. Because quite often these guys, I'm sure you're familiar with this whole greenwashing and green marketing ploys that the guys use, obviously to get you to buy their products. So I'm testing it on my own as well. Obviously, just seeing how the coffee influences that process as well.
Great. Thank you, Alexandra, and thank you, Alex, for that. Let me also invite Bonwa. I'll give the opportunity to you to ask maybe a question, and then very quickly also go to Kelly.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. I guess my general question to the businesses I should have asked that are at the prototyping stage is to gauge their projections. Have you done any form of projections? Because at the end of the day, business, whether circular or not, is set up to make profits. And I mean, from surveys and interviews we've had, even with banks, that's why circular solutions are yet to be bankable, because the businesses are not able to either keep a track on their finances or able to show projections when they are on the onset stage. So have you done any form of projections for your business?
Hi, Bonma. I just want to clarify, you're referring to projections. So obviously future financial projections. Yes, so at this stage, I've been conducting a bit of market research into seeing how many products I would be able to produce. I'm very much at a testing state at this point due to the size of my printer. If I was to ramp up the printing capacity, I do believe that this could be a financially viable business model.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I guess you could show the scale at which you are at now and how much you envisage to make, and then when you scale up to how much, then that convinces an investor to either invest or not.
Yeah, so that is on the cards.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Kelly, any question for Alex?
More of a comment. Well, there's a question, but I'm also conscious of time. Why 3D printing? I very often hear startup ideas coming through where people love the tech, trying to fit the problem. I still think that there's an opportunity for you to dig deeper into this problem space. I get that understand the impact with landfills, but I'm wondering if your solution is very clear and effective fit with the problem that you've identified. And I would encourage you to maybe dig deeper and then explore this opportunity further. And if you're going to pursue 3D printing, might you consider what alternative products could you be doing and creating that could perhaps link more directly with the needs of society across the continent? We need prosthetics need to be 3D printed or could be 3D printed as an example. There's a whole potential different world that you could explore here. And I'd just like to encourage you to do that. But well done and thanks for sharing today.
No, thank you. Thank you for that comment. I think it's definitely food for thought in terms of looking at different social issues and social problems. So I'll definitely go back and look and see what society needs. I think that's ultimately what it's about. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex, for that. I believe, yeah, learnings are coming through even as we are listening to the pitches. Next on the line, I want to go back to Chris. I learned that Chris is ready for us. Chris from SolarCo. Hello, Chris.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Great, I can hear you.
Okay. Trying to share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry, I had a break in transmission. It was raining this side and the line went down.
Okay.
I'm actually visiting the farm where one of our units were recently installed in Delta State. Thank you, Georges, the panelists, and my co-innovators. I'm really excited about what it's happening around Africa at a time like this where we think we are giving up. I'm amazed at how the thinking is going around the continent. What we've done with Solar Cool is we've developed a cold chain that works totally off the grid. If you look at Africa and Nigeria, which is our area of focus, we have about 77 million tons of food that are going into waste, which if you try to monetize, it gets up to like $40 billion that are being wasted annually because of lack of proper cold chain around the country. What we've done is to reduce the spoilage of post-harvest and at the same time create wealth from the power of the sun. Our vision is to eradicate poverty and hunger in the rural area. We deploy these cold rooms on a cooling as a service model where the people don't need to pay upfront for the infrastructure. Rather, they pay per kg or per day or of how they store their produce. At the same time, we are reducing carbon emission. We are creating jobs. We are empowering youths and women who are actually majority in this value chain. We've deployed one unit in Sanubi in Delta State in a poultry farm, and they've since stored over 200 tons of meat in the cooler, in the cold room. We've won 3 awards. One of them is the Global Leap Award, which has managed to help us install a remote monitoring device that we can pick up data from wherever we are, and at the same time we can troubleshoot and fix problems that are being envisaged on time. Here's our impact. We are looking at deploying 300 cold rooms in the next 3 years. We're looking at helping about 45,000 farmers, employing about 3,000 youths that will service and actually run this thing as a business. We are looking at generating about clean 40 million kilowatt hour on the whole 300 units. We are saving about 225 million liters of diesel. We are saving about 640,000 CO2 in the whole process. Our timeline and circularity, the cold room can be deployed in 5 weeks, and they have like a lifespan of about 25 years.
Please wrap up, please.
Okay. We repurpose shipping containers and we use eco-friendly gas, and we have developed an IoT to it, an app that will help people book and try to manage the whole process. We are seeking for funding to deploy about 300 of these things in Africa, and we are also looking for mentorship, access to market, and for like-minded people like.
Thank you very much, Chris, for your presentation. I've been looking forward to exercising my powers, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. I'd like to invite first Bomwa and then Alexandra to give us their views on questions, comments for Chris.
Thanks, Chris. I guess this is one business model that I really find interesting, considering I'm kind of connected to the farms here in Nigeria. But then one question I have for you, it seems like the storage rooms are in set spaces. So maybe on the farm, how do you cater to different farms using the storage? It seems like, yeah, they're able to book space and bring their products. But do you have plans later in the future where you meet the farmers where they are to collect this produce using either cooling vans or any, yeah?
Yeah, we are looking at that, but because of the cost of setting this infrastructure, we actually went into partnership with this farm where they actually agreed to put some money down, in exchange for the pilot to happen. But what we have in mind is actually to centralize these coolers either in market or in farms, where we will have up to 300 users. And At the same time, we intend to sell excess energy. If, for instance, we deploy it in a market, we intend to sell excess energy on a kind of the current mini grid model, whereby the shops around there can actually, gain power from it. Yes, we intend to collect, and we intend to place them strategically where more people will have access to it.
Okay, sounds good, because most of the food here is being lost on the farms. The food loss here doesn't happen after consumption, but rather before it gets taken from the farmers.
Great, thanks, Boma, for that. Alexandra?
Thanks, Chris. Great presentation. I have seen, I think you do need to look at your competitors. I have seen a few similar businesses. My one question would be, what's your payback period on your infrastructure costs? So have you worked out how long it takes to be for a unit to be profitable?
I've worked out, it's just that I reduced my slide to 6, but we've worked out something. If somebody is to operate this on a standalone model, from what we've done, the entrepreneur can make about a profit of about 1.7 million naira monthly, because they can make about 305 kg ice blocks, which sells for about 1,000 naira here. They can, because this is our difference from other coolers is they are just cold room, but this actually freezes. It goes up to -16. So you can sell ice block, you can cool cold drink for the road vendors, depending on where you are located. You can get people from that sell meat in the markets to come and put their leftover for the day. You can also get farmers, because one thing we've noticed with this farm, they were actually telling me that they've actually increased like about 25% from what they normally get from their broilers, because the buyers actually wait for you to slaughter, and they now give you their own price. And if you don't slaughter the birds at that particular time, every day they eat additional feed, they are eating into your profit. So with this, they can freeze the produce for as long as they want. And we just charge them like a minimal fee that, but the break-even period is about 2 years, 7 months.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. I think I want to also introduce another element to it, because I'm conscious of time, and adaptability is also crucial to sustainability, you see. So I want to be adaptable here. And so I want to urge our entrepreneurs that to maybe spend like 40 seconds to 1 minute on a question, so that we are able to go through all that we have to go through, given that we still have some other entrepreneurs, and I don't want to deny them the opportunity. Yeah. So going forward, I want to invite Sarah. Sarah Alsen from Sisonke Compost.
Great, thank you. I will just share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes, coming through, yes.
Great. So thank you. I'm Sarah Alsen from Sisonke Compost in Durban. And the world would be a better place if we diverted all food and organic waste from landfill, valuing waste to now being a resource. And our mission is to provide a product that tackles climate change, builds resilience, and regenerates the living systems of our planet Earth. Why Sisonke Compost? We are an NPO who have been working for the last 8 months with a homeless guy's food garden, and they've been growing vegetables for over 18 months. But the quality of the vegetables was starting to deteriorate, and we noticed that they needed compost. They needed compost to enrich the soil, to make the quality of their veggies better, so they could continue to make earn some living. However, compost is expensive to buy, But the site being where it is, we noticed that there was a hotel nearby that was throwing away over a ton of food waste a month, and as well as a local sports field with grass clippings and street trees with plenty of leaves. And the realization was that we had the space to make our own compost on the site. And so Sisonke Compost was born, and we've had the last 6 months piloting the project of making this compost, and we've so far diverted approximately 26 tons of green and brown and food waste from landfill and created 15 tons of compost, all of which has been used to improve the vegetable production at the Sisonke Durban garden. Our upfront costs have been nil. We've managed to persuade the hotel to purchase the bokashi bran, which is the effective microorganism activator, to start the fermentation process on the cooked food. And in April, for example, despite flooding in Durban, the men have made over 2,000 Rand profit from their veg sales. So definitely the quality of the veg has been improved. Composting definitely works. We want to keep waste local to where it is needed as a resource. It can lead to employment and potential good additives to local food gardens where compost can be used. So we want to scale the project now to being a demonstration phase. There's lots of information about the current food problem. 40% of any waste stream is compostable. And in South Africa, we've got facts and figures saying that 10.3 million tons of food waste went to landfill in 2021. Of course, there are big costs in terms of transport and landfill charges, as well as the emission footprint of throwing away food and transporting it. So by composting, we decrease greenhouse gases by 98%. And the time is right in South Africa now, as the government has mandated 100% diversion of organic waste from landfill by 2030. So the timing is good. Our value proposition, therefore, is to expand the pilot Sisonke Compost to a demonstration phase by consulting to establish in situ composting for 4 commercial users who have the space and can use the product themselves and sell surplus back to us as part of a CSI BBBE support as we set up a local SME. We have already approached the 4 partners we're going to initially deal with. They all have our green lungs of Durban, big amount of spaces. They all have restaurants on site, and they all have green and brown waste, which we can utilize. We've done a couple of customer discovery insight visits, and the feedback has been very positive indeed, saying just tell us what we need to do. They're particularly taken with the fact that there's a 25% increase in value from the recovery of other recyclables by starting to separate out food waste. So this has been appealing. Currently, the regulations are in our favor at the moment because one does not need a waste license to make up to 10 tons of compost on one's own property daily. We have a business model in sight, which we are showing to the 4 demonstration properties. We know what our potential earnings can be, and this has been confirmed to us by our racecourse.
Sarah, unfortunately, I've had to mute you there. Thank you very much for this. Okay, thank you. You're also thanking us too. Great. So I'd like to invite Kelly first to give her own reflections about this. And then after that, Alexandra. And please, Sarah, take 40 seconds or 1 minute to respond to each of the questions. Thank you.
That's great. Well then, Sarah, I suppose my question is more linked around the livelihood opportunity. You mentioned 2,000 Rand. How much time is an individual required to spend, and over what period does that 2,000 Rand get generated? So is it for 4 days of work in a month? Is it 30 days in a month, as an example?
That 2,000 Rand is the cost per month for over a 6-month period. So it'll end up being 12,000 Rand to the 4 establishments I mentioned. But that's about 80% of that cost is going to be in the purchasing of the infrastructure they need in the form of the drums needed to collect the food waste, and also to buy the bokashi bran, which is the additive to activate the food waste fermentation process. After 6 months, once they've got all the infrastructure and the methodology of how to create the compost, the only thing they'll need to buy monthly is the bokashi bran, which can be, it's based at 330 Rand for a 8-kilogram bag. So it depends on how much food waste their restaurants are generating as to how much they use, because at the end of 6 months, we will have taught their staff and we will remain as a consultancy service to help them with composting issues. But certainly 2 of the customer discovery visits have revealed that they would be more than happy to let us sell the surplus of compost that they will have, because they are all a large sites, and they will not need it all. And they like the fact that it's an SME employment opportunity.
Okay, so that 2,000 Rand that I initially saw, I obviously misunderstood. That's then the cost that needs to be covered by the hotels. Okay, great.
Yes, yes.
Okay, then the livelihood opportunity, I'm more interested in. How does this actually work? Because is it employment contracts? How do you integrate the homeless men into your project, and how is that sustainable for you going forward?
Well, no, the homeless project was really a demonstration. It was a pilot project. There again, the main emphasis there is still on food growing. So we want to split off the composting project as its own entity, really, and create a new SME. So sorry if that wasn't clear. They're going to carry on with the food growing. We're going to establish a completely separate SME, which only does composting and goes around to offer a consultancy service. So we will recruit an ops manager. We're in the process of doing that, and we will use local workforce. We've applied under the public employment program with government for 2 extra staff for the 6-month demonstration period, and then hopefully have a bucket growth from there.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Alexandra, any question? You're on mute, Alexandra, please.
So apologies. Sarah, I think you need to look at your business model. I think you need to also figure out how much money are you saving restaurants from taking away their waste. And besides the consulting services, could you run composting as a service and do the employment there? Because I think as your business scales, there's going to be more complexity, and you're going to need to look at additional revenue streams. So I think it's quite interesting to look at the replacement costs of, how much are they, because they normally pay to have someone remove their organic waste for them. So really look at your business model. And then just one other point as well, organic waste, as I think you said, also part of your problem statement is that it's a huge contaminant. So it's also a problem because it makes other recyclable material unrecyclable, because it's the cost to decontaminate it it just makes it unfeasible to recycle.
Yes, so it's crucial to have that separation at source of food waste.
Yeah, but I think also, this is just a general comment, there are so many businesses here who are almost trying to do the same things or reinvent similar processes. And I would be really interested to see, how do you all combine and almost divide up this problem? So, the first Wastewells, they should almost show you where you could also find an organics recycling plant as well, or composting bin. So there's a lot of synergies here, which I'd love to see between the businesses. And I think Kelly made this point earlier as well.
Great, thank you.
Can I just respond to that? Oh, I've got no more time.
No more time, Sarah. We can continue the chat later. We can contact Alexandra later. Yeah, and just like you emphasized, I think the importance of this is also to show the collaborative potential of companies and how they can work together to solve sustainability challenges. I want to move ahead now and move from organic waste and move to organic waste to energy. So I think we've got Rosalie here, who is ready to present.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, my colleague will be able to share screen, and then Rosalie, you can take it from there.
Thank you very much. I'm the 100%.
Got 3 minutes, please. Go for it.
Oh, I'm the 100% shareholder of Organic Waste to Energy, otherwise known as O. I am also the CEO of the company. Next screen. The reason the why for us is to inspire change for new possibilities. And in that process, we will find that there will be possibilities, new change, paradigm shifts, and possibilities and opportunities. The journey really began when the last role I had in ABSA. Would you like to move to the next role? The last role in ABSA was made redundant, and at the time, fortunately, I was doing my master's in leadership and sustainability, and during my research project. And that brought me to start wondering about my own carbon footprint, personal carbon footprint, which fortunately then led me to start being aware of what's happening in the household. We had two-way bin system, where one was for recyclables and one was general waste, but food waste still went into the general waste bin. It was then when I approached the local government to find out what they were actually doing about organic waste separation from source. And from that, I realized there was a gap, and this is when Organic Waste to Energy was formed. Next slide, please. Really, the customer problem that we're trying to solve is an ESG one. When we look at an environmental perspective one, we're looking at organic waste separation from source so that we extract the real content, the real quality feedstock, and divert it away from landfill to avoid the methane gases. From a social perspective, it's about promoting societal behavior change with regard to separating food waste at source. And from a governance perspective, we talk to the current bans on organic waste into the landfill and the search for BEE female green suppliers. Next slide, please. So we definitely do have an ESCOM challenge at the moment, and voila, our solution is converting food waste into energy through biogas plant. Next slide, please. Okay, from a market perspective, when we look at somebody has mentioned it earlier, 6.6 million tons of food waste was recorded in South Africa. That's where there's huge opportunities there in the processing, food processing, handling, storage, and distribution aspects or value chain. And just in Cape Town alone, 325,000 tons of organic waste is sent to the landfill. And the clients that I'm actually looking at are those decision makers in corporate and business. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so I've been out. Once we established our business, we were approached by an international waste management company that is looking to divert their organic waste from the landfill. We did their food testing, and from their food testing, we found that the 21 tons that they will be supplying us of food waste a month will produce electricity enough to power 340 households with 25 kilowatts a day of electricity, and who would not want that? The project is estimated at 10 Okay, the technology is anaerobic digestion. Next slide, please. Okay, that's the technology that we'll use to convert our food waste into energy. We've got, next slide, please. We've got the regulatory approvals that we need to do, the waste license, EIA basic license, water license. Next slide, please. Our business model, basically the first part of the model is to
I'm sorry for that, Rosalie, but I think I've been magnanimous enough to add another 10 seconds to your presentation. And so I want to invite Bomoa to, Jokudu, if you can keep the slide on the business model, maybe it'll be interesting for our judges to see.
Yeah, I think, I wanted to look at, I got to the interesting part of looking at the business model.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit curious as to the source of the organic waste. Do they plan to collect it from households or hotels? I don't think she got to that point because I know that with waste to energy, at the moment, most of the plants I know operate at very minimal scale and target maybe just powering of houses. So wanted to see the correlation between the waste collection and the scale of power that will be generated and what kind of end users will be supplied power. Yeah.
Over to you, Rosalie. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so really our clients are commercial, the ones who produce large tons of volumes of food waste. We're not interested in going into a residential space because it's sporadic. If we go into a residential space, it would be in concentrated areas like estates, residential complexes, but really we're looking for those clients that produce large amounts of food waste in one concentrated area.
Thank you. And I thank you for keeping it short. Kelly, any question for?
How far? I'm sorry, I'm really your presentation went quite quickly. So just like, do you have a clarification question? How far along your journey are you? Are you ready to, how far are you from taking this to market? Rosalie?
Rosalie?
Yeah, so we're already in market. We started the prototype. The client has approached us. They're going to give us 21 tons. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Continue, please.
They're going to give us 21 tons of food waste. We have then done a pre-feasibility test regarding their biomethane potential, and we are now have approached funders for grant funding to build the first pilot biogas plant in Cape Town.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think because of time, I'll move on now. And I would like to invite, I think I need to bring Matume on board now. Matume, are you with us?
Hi, I'm still here. I'm not sure if you heard me at all.
Who is that?
That was Rosalie.
That was Rosalie.
Yes, were you asking me a question? Sorry.
No. I'm trying to move forward now and invite the next company. Matume from Mangao Animal Feeds, are you still with us?
Hi, Daniel. Yes, I'm here.
Are you able to share your presentation?
Please share it from your side because I sent it and I'm using a phone currently.
Okay. Chukudu?
It's just giving me 2 seconds to open it, but I'm ready in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. On the presentation, I mean on the program, it was me, but obviously I might just
sorry. Apologies for that. I need to. I mean, I'm supposed to say it. I need to bring Matume on board now because I think he's running out of data.
Okay,
so
understood.
I want him to. Then after that, I'll call you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'll call Smart Ecowe and then sister.
Okay,
yeah.
No problem. Cool. Thank
Great,
you.
Thanks. Matume, please go for it.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Matume Matarane, the founder and director of Mangao Animal Feeds, which is an agro-processing, agri-tech, and e-commerce company that manufactures livestock feeds using raw agricultural materials and waste material. Moving to the next slide. Mangao Animal Feeds' vision is to become the leading green business in agro-processing, producing nutritious, unique, and quality organic animal feeds for greater yield. As we move to the next slide. The journey. I founded the company in 2015 after conducting a 3-year feasibility study, and I fully registered the company in 2019 after conducting the research. And I realized that this is not more than just a research to me, but I needed to become an entrepreneur. Moving to the next slide, please. The customer problem that I identified is food insecurity, ecological degradation, and global warming and high levels of droughts where livestock farmers, they are no longer becoming profitable to meet the issues of food security. Moving to the next slide. Value proposition of the company, it is to manufacture high nutritious value feeds which are beneficial to our customers, organic animal feeds where we use waste products to manufacture animal feeds, and high production. Our products offer high yields whereby we sell our products using mobile app to reduce the CO2 or carbon emissions. Moving to the next slide. The target customers are livestock farmers, small and large-scale livestock farmers, and are found in almost all areas in the world. And mostly we are targeting communal farmers to help them to become commercial farmers. Let's go to the next slide. Customer discovery insights. After doing the feasibility study, I realized that I need to do community outreach programs so that I can teach our local customers about the importance of preserving habitats and also how to become profitable farmers. And I started doing this by selling animal feeds by the roadside. Moving to the next slide. Technical readiness level. The company is 100% ready to start scaling up by manufacturing animal feeds, fertilizers, and from agricultural waste. And the company's Mangao Animal Feeds is in a late prototype stage to start scaling up. Moving to the next slide. MVP readiness, in terms of the app, our app is available on Google Play stores so that we can start selling our products. And in terms of product development, we are also ready to start introducing more products. To the next slide. Regulatory approvals that we are aware of is to regulate with the SAMAS, SABS, NRC, and also we are ensure that most of the compliance that we have is the once of payment. Moving to the next slide. Business model. The company was well established after we experienced a setback where our operating equipment was stolen, but we were generating an income and a profit of 180 rand by producing.
So may please wrap up.
Okay, moving to the next slide. Go to market. Our market is mostly small and large scale livestock farmers, institutions, and welfare animals. To the next slide. Milestones achieved. Currently, we are looking forward to raise 300,000 rand by the end of December 2022 and 5 million rand by the end of December 2023. To the next slide. The team is comprised of me.
Thank you very much, Matome, for that presentation. Yeah. Please, I want you to take 30 to 40 seconds to respond to any question you asked while I bring on board Alexandra to please ask Matome some questions or maybe make some comments.
Thanks. But to me, so different animals require different feeds. So, you know, if you're farming chickens, there's a very specific feed you feed chickens versus cows and sheep. So tell me, how have you differentiated your product, and where have you really validated your product with what livestock?
Matsume, are you with us?
Seems frozen.
Oh. Matome, are you with us? Okay. Anyways, maybe when he rejoins, we ask him the questions. We need to move forward now. So, colleagues, we have 2 presentations to go. And after that, we are going to be having our assessment, and then we wrap up that way. So please bear with us. Very soon we'll be done. I'd like to invite Yvonne from Smart Eco Highway for the presentation. Yvonne, are you with us? Hello, Yvonne. Are you with us? Okay, great. Since I can't hear from Yvonne, let me move to the final presentation for today. From Sister, can I invite Lisa Marie Hugo to give us our presentation?
Okay, cool. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Marie Hugo, and together with John Hugo, we have founded Sister. The main problem we are trying to fix with our business is the sustainable disposal of non-recyclable plastic. So what is non-recyclable plastic? So as you can see, there's a lot of this kind of in our daily consumption, and the best way to describe it is all the plastic that we can't throw into our recycling bins. So the solution we have to this is Ecobricks. What are Ecobricks? Ecobricks are 2-liter plastic bottles stuffed with clean and dry non-recyclable plastic, so compact that it can be used as building material. Our main aim as a business is to provide a service that streamlines the creation of these Ecobricks from household plastic. So there are 2 components to our business. Our initial focus of the business was and still is a recycling service, in quotation marks, for non-recyclable plastic. So we collect household non-recyclable plastic on a monthly basis. We then take this to a community where members of our team make the physical Ecobricks, and then we go drop the Ecobricks at an Ecobrick organization such as Ecobrick Exchange, where they take it to various projects. So just a quick financial analysis. So per client, our initial capital is 300 Rand. Thereafter, per month, per client, our revenue is 200 Rand with a profit of 80 Rand. As you can see, our profit margins per client is pretty slim. So that's why we added our second component, which we have add-on products. So the aim is to supply local and eco-friendly products to our clients with a plus minus 33% markup on all our products. Together with this and economies of scale, our profitability will likely to improve. So who are we looking at as our market? We're looking at change makers. Our focal point has been on middle-class Gen Z, 18 to 25-year-olds, who either support us directly or influence other generations to do so. Growth in our market is inevitable, especially with the increasing influence of the so-called sustainable generation. Our market strategy is simple. We have Instagram page as well as various communication channels through WhatsApp. We have also taken part in social impact events as well as markets where we have expanded our influence even more. So at the moment, there are no direct competitors. Our hope is to attain first movers advantage. So our USP, we have to find as 24/7 contact with the clients, as well as being completely transparent to where the plastic is going, as well as uplifting communities by cleaning the environment still. Our operations, so our products are ordered directly through Instagram or our WhatsApp groups. Our service, so pickup and deliveries, is once a month. Newsletter.
Marie, if you can wrap up, please.
Sure. So being the winner of the social impact category of the EDH Stellenbosch internal round, we are ready to change what it means to own a business in this day and age, and we will continue empowering individuals as well as cleaning the environment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Marie. I was looking forward to exercising my powers again, but it's fine. Thanks for that. I just want our judges to ask a question each and pose a question or comment to Lisa Marie and from Sister. So let me start with Alexandra, then I'll go to Bomwa and then Kelly. You're on mute, Alexandra.
Thanks. This is a comment for everyone. I felt like almost every single business was trying to be too many things. You are trying to build logistics businesses, software businesses with mobile apps, production businesses, sales and distribution businesses. Figure out what you really want to focus on and then partner with the rest. So for instance, Sister, I don't know why on earth you're collecting waste. I pay 64 Rand to get all my recycling collected from me once a month. Why don't you just tell those customers to put non-recycled plastic? You go to one depot, collect as much non-recycled plastic as possible. So it's just a comment. So this is across the range. What I want to know is, what is the link with Butternut? Why have you got their products? I didn't get that. So you said your business model wasn't profitable enough, so you've added on other things?
Yeah, so basically, just to refer to your first statement, so with non-recyclable plastics, we're talking more about with recycling companies, there aren't any streamlined kind of channels that you can put your non-recyclables in. So often those end up going to landfill. And then also the Butternut thing, that's just more of a wholesaling thing. So we're not a partner with them. We just wholesaling their products. So we're not partnered with them.
Okay, so that's just a way to make additional cash.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Bomwa, you have any question or comment?
Okay, how long has your business been in operations? And in terms of collection of waste that you do, I mean, it's easier to separate at source if you're collecting recyclable material. The risk with non-recyclables is it gets commingled with organic waste and poses a challenge of trying to separate. And also, how do you tackle that? And I mean, I'm asking how long you've been in operation to kind of gauge in terms of scale up and how you've grown so far. Yeah.
So we started in 2020. So we've been in operation probably for a year and a half. So we ran a pilot in 2020 and people were very keen to join. And then we've just been kind of sustaining it so long because me and my sister are studying at the moment. So we're just sustaining it. We haven't started expansion yet. And then, so we have about 6 clients underneath us. And then, what was the other question? It was, so basically we give each client 2 hemp bags. So it's a separate bag you throw your non-recyclables into. So we give them a list of what non-recyclable plastics they can put in that bag. And then we pick it up in that bag to take to our team to stuff the bricks. So it's completely a separate refuse kind of area to put your stuff. And so far, people have been really obedient to that. So especially with the list we give. So we really haven't had any problems with cross-contamination.
Great, thank you very much.
And in terms of the amount, sorry, in terms of the amount, has he gone up? I mean, customer to customer, or have you noticed any decrease in terms of collection from the various customers?
So do you mean like within the actual, like in their own bag? Or
yeah, for the collection, for the non-recyclable collection, have you measured the scale? I mean, in terms of the amount of waste over time since you started.
So we haven't been able to scale because we haven't really we've just been sustaining our 6 families that we have at the moment. But we have, with regards to the amount of waste that they bring in, they're very, like, the amount of waste is quite consistent. So there hasn't been a decrease in kind of, how would I say this, kind of like interest, like people still, every month, they still have the same amount of waste. So it's not people losing interest or anything like that.
Yeah, okay, thanks, yeah.
Great. Thank you very much for those reflections. It's for businesses to get better. It's for us to rethink the rationale behind the businesses. I mean, what we are doing, especially for our entrepreneurs. And so I just want us to work on the comments from our judges and see how you can take this forward. And I think we have gotten to a state to the one of the interesting part of this session, where we are going to be going into the assessment. And I'm going to invite our judges and some of my colleagues to go to a breakout room where they will do the final scoring. And like I said, I mean, before, they are the judges, but we've got a jury here. And the jury is the audience that we have. And so we are going to do our own assessment based on the questions that we have formulated. We've got 3 questions. If you can throw it again, throw the questions again, or Jokudu is going to assist in facilitating that. So please do the breakout and let our judges, so that they are not private to what we want to discuss also.
Can I get a heads up if our judges are gone?
Ms. Margot, listening, you can share the screen, check your email now.
The judges are gone, yes, Jokudu.
So everyone, what we're going to do right now is take you through a judging process. As Daniel had put it, you will be the supporting jury to see different aspects of businesses and try and highlight different aspects based on the questions that were shared with you earlier. So our 3 questions were: whose pitch do you perceive to be the most convincing or exciting? Whose pitch do you perceive to be the most socially impactful? And whose pitch do you perceive to be the most environmentally sustainable? So I hope you're able to remember all the businesses, because what I'm going to do right now is put into the chat a link to Mentimeter. So for those of you who are on your phone, Sister says they cannot hear me clearly. Can you still not hear me clearly? I think there's also some background noise coming from a different speaker that might be affecting mine as well.
You're a little bit muffled, but I can hear you well enough.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do right now is I've put in the chat a link to Menti, but one thing is if you have your phone with you, if you just could quickly go to your browser and put in menti.com, it's in the chat so you'll be able to see it. And what you can do is type in the code that's been included there, which is 28903463. If you're on your computers, what you can do is just quickly click on the link there, and it will either take you straight to the page, or you can also copy the code there and use that. And so what you need to do, I'm sorry, if could we please just get support with ensuring that everyone is muted?
Yes, I've done that, Jokuru. I'm on it.
Thank you. So just to start with our first question, if everyone is on Mentimeter. So the first question is, which pitch do you perceive to be the most convincing or exciting? So once you're on the page, could you just pick the top 3 businesses that you thought were most convincing or exciting? Each business that you choose on that list will get a point, so you can only pick the top 3. I do not see anyone who's on Menti at the moment. As they come in, just a reminder, if you're on your phones, just type in menti.com and put in the code that's in the chat. You will be able to then vote for the top 3 businesses that you would like to vote for. I see one person has voted. So far, Meant to Be is getting the highest votes. We have 2 people who have voted. 3 people. So I'm just going to give it a moment so we can get more responses. About 5.
Jokuru, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, this information is for our companies also. I believe you've also listened to your colleagues and everything, so you have the opportunity to also contribute to this. You can vote. Anyway, it means you can vote for yourself. Anyway, in democracy also, they vote for themselves, right? So you can vote, you can vote for yourself and vote for your colleagues that maybe you are impressed with their pitch. And please, let's do that. Yeah, thanks.
Yes, I think Daniel raises a good point. If there's a business that you thought you would like to vote for, please do so. Okay, so far at the top, what we are seeing is that Meant to Be has the most votes for the pitch that they thought was the most convincing and exciting. They are then followed by Telio Green Recycling Marketplace, and with the 3rd most votes is Wastewells. In the chat box, it would be interesting to hear from those of you who have voted who you voted for and why. I think Meant to Be's pitch was also definitely very convincing and exciting. They shared a very good stat that Daniel also reflected on, which is that within 3 years, there's concern about our access to food, especially if we don't have bees to support with that process. So it's very cool that a lot of what was mentioned in that presentation stuck with most people.
If you can go to the next question.
We will now go to the next question. So the next question is, whose pitch do you perceive to be the most socially impactful? We already have a number of votes here. So again, most people have voted for meant to be as the most socially impactful business. We do have a change this time around with second position going to organic waste to energy. And then in third position, we have solar core. Just as I was speaking, we've seen a jump in position. Virus Solutions was around the 7th or 8th, and they've just jumped to 4th. So I'll give a little bit of time for more people to throw in their votes. And let's see whether the top businesses are the ones who remain where they are, or if we'll see changes. We have a total of 13 votes, and we've seen Solar Co jump to second position. Sorry, organic waste to energy, you've been bumped to third position, and it seems to be sticking. So from 18 votes, the most socially impactful business is meant to be. In second position, we have Solar Co, and in third position, we have organic waste to energy. I will now shift to our next slide. This is the last chance to vote if you are still voting. But I think these results have stuck. Our third question was, whose pitch do you perceive to be the most environmentally impactful? I will just wait to see whose business everyone thought was the most environmentally impactful. So we do have a third question there, and your votes are coming in. We can see Sisonke Compost at the top, followed by Wastewells, followed by Meant to Be. Please keep your votes coming. We have 7 votes. We've seen Wastewells go to the top. Sisonke Compost, you've been bumped to second. Fire Solutions pushing through again, now in third position. We have 15 people who have voted. I'm gonna give it another few, about 30 seconds to a minute for the final votes to come in. We have 16 votes at the moment. Please do put in your final votes before we lock in our first, second, and third position. So in first position for most environmentally impactful is Wastewells. We then have Sisonke Compost as second, and Meant to Be in third position. Meant to Be is definitely a favorite for most people. And a close fourth there is Organic Waste to Energy, followed by Fire Solutions. Thank you everyone who has voted. It has been interesting seeing which businesses people have voted for and what stood out from each of them. One thing I would like to see while we wait for our judges to continue deliberating and finalize their inputs is to maybe just see in the chat who you voted for and why. While we hear from you, something that Drini Botes has mentioned in the chat is that without bees, we have no food. well done to Meant to Be. Sarah says just use local jars rather than importing jars, not good environmentally, surely. So support local businesses. Yeah, I think just to say thank you to everyone who has pitched today. Your businesses are wonderful. There's so many ideas. There's a lot of room for improvement. As we've heard from the judges, a lot of new ideas that have been shared today. So we're also very excited to see how your journeys unfold. And definitely well done to Meant to Be for making it in the top 3 of all the categories, but also to all the other businesses that are featured as top businesses for being socially, environmentally impactful, as well as being exciting businesses. Brendan noted that he wished he had more time. Definitely, as Rosalie has said, well done to everyone for your pitches.
Which one is one? What?
Just do you want to just double check?
Double check. Because
So we are now just waiting for our judges to return from their rooms and their deliberations to see which of the businesses that have presented has won their votes. So just give it a few more minutes. I'm sure it's very interesting where they are, and they're reflecting on which businesses they thought met their criteria.
can you bring our judges back? I think they're also true now. And can you close the breakout room?
Yeah.
They are back. Great, thank you very much. It's been an exciting experience, and the jury has spoken, and the judges, they have also spoken. And I think I'll start with the jury, and so that the judges can also reflect on what has gone on in the room here. So we asked the audience, we asked participants 3 questions. The first one is, which pitch do they perceive as the most convincing or exciting? The second one is, which one do they perceive as the most socially impactful? And the third one is, which one do they perceive as the most environmentally impactful? For the first one, which one do they perceive as most convincing? Meant to Be came out tops, and followed by Telio Green, and in third position was Wastewells. In terms of which one do they feel is most socially impactful, it was also Meant to Be again, and in second position is Solar Cool, and third is Organic Waste to Energy. For the final one, which one do the audience perceive as the most environmentally impactful? We've got Wastewells as number 1, and then followed by Sisonke Compost, and then on third position is Meant to Be. You can see that Meant to Be is being considered, and I think in fourth position there is Organic Waste to Energy. Now to what our judges feel, and we can ask them also why they decided to go for that, and we'll give them that opportunity. Coming out as second runner up, what I used to call third position, is Sisonke. A round of applause for Sisonke, please. Okay. Doing a round of applause virtually is interesting.
Yay! Yay! We're going.
Great. And the runner-up for this showcase is from the judges is Solar Cool. A round of applause for Solar Cool. And finally, as the executioner of this event, I want to present to you the judges' scorecard, and I want to present to you the winner of the showcase based on the judges' scorecard is, I'm keeping people in suspense now. It's meant to be. A round of applause for meant to be.
I'm speechless. I'm really speechless. I'm really so thankful. You guys have no idea. I worked for 2 years on this. I love my beekeepers. We can't move forward because we don't have funds. I turn around every cent. Can I say something more, David, please, except for the thank you.
Thank you so much, Drini. And before I go to the judges, to just give like a final overview of why they've gone with this scoring. For every one of our companies, we are so proud of the effort because you took on this initiative, this task on short notice. And just like we informed you, it's to basically continue to make progress in your business, to see what are those things I can do better and to prepare for the future. We are preparing them for the future. So don't take these as maybe we are scoring you or something. It's about improving the business ideas. It's about improving the implementation and going forward, being able to fix some things and ensure that you've got a business that is sustainable, that is impactful. And yeah, thank you very, very much for being with us. I want to give the judges one final, why have they gone with this scorecard? I'll go from Kelly in 1 minute. Please summarize why you went for that from Kelly, then to Bonwa, and then Alexandra in 1 minute, please, because we need to round off very quickly. Please, Kelly.
Sure, it's great. I think the solutions for meant to be, sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, go for it. No, I mean, generally for the 3 that you've selected, I mean, what's the rationale? Why have you gone for that? In 1 minute, then we move to Bonwa.
Great, thank you. Please. Very difficult for everybody to present in 3 minutes your whole idea end to end. We acknowledge that. Very importantly, what did come through quite clearly with all 3 of these ideas, there was a lot more thinking that was presented across to us that we could see that linked your problem solution space, and that also allowed for you to understand how and what you needed to include into your business to take it forward. And I think that's really important. It's also not just about the money, but it's around the sustainability and the real impact that you're working towards. And that looking at that in a more comprehensive manner, it gave us, or at least gave myself a feeling that these 3 ideas and businesses have a lot of opportunity to go forward. I would encourage you to continue to explore what might be future disruptions to your existing business model ideas, and then consider how might you partner or create additional ecosystems of collaboration to really allow for your ideas to go even further and to bring about the change that you're working towards. But well done and congratulations. I'll hand it over to Alexandra.
I said Bob were first. Can Bob go?
Sorry.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We're all ladies, I guess, so it's fine. Yeah. So I mean, well done to all the businesses that have participated. I mean, kudos to you coming to put out your pitch on what you're doing. We appreciate that. But I think we went on the top 3 because, like Kelly said, they were able to connect the problem to the solution clearly for us to see. And I mean, in terms of what they were doing, it didn't seem like they were focusing on too many things, because especially for business at that startup phase, you need to be very focused, and helps you to reach your targets before you're able to open up to other ideas. So we saw that clearly with the businesses. And finally, they were able to kind of project into what will happen to the business in future. We could see some potential for them still being sustainable in the future. So that was why we went with the top 3. But I mean, just to encourage everyone, like we said, a lot of competitors are out there. See what your competition is doing. If there are cases where you can synergize in terms of your models to kickstart, to propel your business. There's no waste can work with waste collectors and another person doing the energy conversion. You don't have to collect and convert at the same time. So just scout around. That's the whole aim of bringing you together, so you can network and see what others are doing that you can be able to potentially use in your business to propel it. But I mean, well done, and thanks. It was a privilege for me to hear what you all have been doing. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Bomwa, for that. Alexandra, the final overview.
Thanks. I think the key things that stuck out for me were, in terms of our 3 finalists, very clear value proposition, and knew who their customers were. And then the other thing was also around scalability. So I know that many of you are building businesses for the first time, and I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, and I would really, so first of all, congratulations. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. So thank you. So well done for taking the kind of the first few steps. And I can see some of you this might be your second or third business, and others ones it might be your first business. But I just really encourage you to figure out what your value proposition is. Be very, very clear on who your customers are, not necessarily who your beneficiaries are. And don't try and be all things to everyone. Really the most successful businesses are the ones that really focus, and rather partner with others who can help you build your business rather than doing everything yourself.
Thank you so much. Rather than doing everything yourself, please collaborate, continue to engage with your colleagues, know who your competitors are, and see how you can take your business forward. A lot of learnings coming on board through this session. And I think my colleague has dropped in the chat box a survey for us to fill. Please, before this session concludes, please complete the survey form. It's a Rise Africa survey form. We just want to know whether this session has been an interesting one, and whether it has contributed, or whether it is to the vision of Rise Africa Action Festival. And it is on that note that I want to thank everyone. I want to especially thank our judges for making themselves available for this. I mean, it basically was on short notice. I want to sincerely appreciate you for being with us thus far. I want to also thank our audience who has been with us, and even our entrepreneurs. Thank you for taking this on board on short notice. We'll continue to work with you on how you can improve your business model and your business proposition, and just to take your business forward. And I hope everyone has been inspired by this session and how that it speaks to being creative and the need to act now. Like I used to say, the time to act is now for the cities that we want, for the countries that we want in Africa, for the Africa that we want. And I believe our businesses are contributing to that. And I want to urge them to continue to innovate and aspire for greatness. Thank you so much, everyone. It is on this note that we are going to say goodbyes. Please complete the survey form, and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Bye.
Right, bye.
Thank you.